We're looking at a game called Through the Darkest of Times. I'm joined by Florian Emmerich, publisher of Handy Games, publisher at Handy Games, and you're publishing this game. Um, it's a lot more serious than the game we previously just looked at. So we're probably just gonna. It's about being a member of the resistance during the the Nazi Party's rise to power, or after the rise to power, right?
Exactly when the day when Hitler becomes chancellor, you have like three guys meet in a pub and they say that can't be possible. We have to do something against this.
Okay.
And they have to somehow try to stop it.
Let's get the let's watch a little intro to it, just to give everyone watching kind of an idea of the tone of the game and the idea of it. So it's set in Berlin, as far as I know.
Yes, you're right.
And
I remember when Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor in 1933, the masses cheered. But we were not among them. We knew that the times would be bad now. We knew that the Nazi threats were not empty. That those people meant what they said. We had to do something. We couldn't just stay silent. But we also knew that it can cost us our heads.
so that's the intro.
Go to new gamer.
So we'll just go to a new game, yeah,
Yes.
and we'll get
So
started.
now you can choose a character. They are procedurally generated. Yeah, that means if you click on a little dice over there, their appearance, the new dice, if you just click on it, exactly, you see that their appearance would change. Just left click. There you go, exactly. And you see they have different occupations and they also have a different background, like being a monarchist, being a social democrat, being communist, being of Jewish belief, for example, or Catholic belief. So they are naturally opposite of the Nazis. So they want to, be against them. And also this background that you choose here, it has a meaning in the game because we have special events tied to your background. So that means a social democrat character would face different events than a Jewish character, for example, would do.
Okay, let's just pick one of these random characters. Actually, we'll have a play about here. You can see, just show people how much you can customize your character. It's quite good. It's quite good, but we'll pick somebody else. We won't pick the anarchist. We'll go for a. I'm looking for someone with a good job.
Like what?
Like,
Doctor? Sewer? Architect?
I don't know, something that makes thematic sense. I saw a pharmacist earlier. I feel like that feels right.
I love
Left man.
Also
All right,
fine.
we'll go with this guy. George Muller. Is that how you pronounce that name?
It's Georg Müller.
Georg Muller.
Yeah,
Georg
of course
Müller.
it's German name. Press start again.
When he says peace, he means war. When he says good, he means evil.
Exactly. I
A
mean,
fairly good deconstruction of that.
and it's a situation that people have to think about. I mean, in 1933, we didn't know what Hitler was really up to. And now in hindsight, it's pretty easy to say, of course, he led Germany into the war, and of course, he's responsible for the Holocaust. But in 33, when he just became chancellor on the very same day, it wasn't that clear. And so those people think he will lead Germany into disaster, into a war again. And this is why they want to tell the other people in Germany that what the Nazis are up to. And that's what the first steps of your resistance group is about. Like spreading leaflets, painting messages on the wall, and gain more and more support to actually tell the people what the Nazis are up to.
The developers done lots of research, I guess, on
Yes.
the different resistance groups that were active in Germany in the early days of the 1930s and stuff like that.
Exactly. There's a lot of books and sources we can reach out to. We've spoken to professors at the university. We even had the chance to talk to a few witnesses that are still left. Of course, they experienced the war as children then, but still they had interesting stories to tell. And one of the most things we want to transport is the feeling of that time. I mean, what you should imagine is three guys and they are facing a whole state. Yeah, they are facing the police, they are facing the secret police, the army even. They are facing a how do you say, a legal system which is controlled by the Nazis. Yeah, they will get the judges under the control of the party, the police, and everyone. So you can't really.
So this scene as us, we've just entered the secret meeting room.
Exactly.
Roman is one of our cohorts, I guess. This is danger. Nazi thugs have been terrorizing us for years, and now their messiah became chancellor. I must leave the country. I'll ask Roman. This is real danger. All of us should leave the country. I will calm them. So I'm guessing it's like a choice-based game, and things will have an impact.
Exactly.
Down the line.
Exactly. I mean, in this very first scene, they don't have so much of an impact, but later on, there can be like really crucial decisions that you do there. We'll hopefully see a few of those things.
What do you suggest we do? We must be careful, because we are very small. We need to be careful and organized. Let's tell everyone we know, friends. We'll tell everyone who will listen that we must resist the regime.
We're talking One Stop Hitler. So of course we have to do something to act.
Maybe. You're right, but we must not give up. If the people stand united, he will be gone before summer. I guess the thing is, so you have kind of opinions.
Exactly, you get morale. That is one of your key resources. If your morale ever drops to 0, your group will dissolve because they are too afraid. Yeah.
Okay. And
so basically, if you click on the plan mission thing here, for
if
example,
I read the news, does that just show me the things I saw before?
They will come every week, so it's a turn-based strategy game, separated in weeks. And here you see now a map of Berlin.
So this is the kind of screen that people will be seeing most of the time?
Exactly. And here you plan missions. So you can see the different resources there. You have morale, you have the goals you have to fulfill, and the more supporters, which is the number on the right, you get access to more and more different missions. So first you can only like collect some money, you can talk to some friends if they want to support you, want to join you maybe as a group member even. And yeah, that's the first steps that we are taking. So they are all green now because the risk is very low. I mean, if you only talk to your friends about that you don't like Hitler, you maybe not so much in trouble.
Let's go and see if we can find a new member, because I feel like if we have more people...
Mm-hmm. And now you see you can drag and drop the characters to the spots there. And this mission, for example, requires secrecy. So if you mouse over those your
so every character has secrecy, empathy, propaganda. Okay.
And of course, the higher it is, the better.
Let's see. Who shall we send? We need to find candidates that says we can trust, who are willing to join our group but not give away. We are recruiting for the resistance. What is this inventory?
You can use certain items also to add to your mission. So intel would usually give you an advantage if the risk is very high. You can lower it by using intel. If you have a bike, you might, if you get in a special situation, you might need to run away or to flee, and then you can also use the bike if you have it with you. If you don't have it with you, well.
Oh, okay. I see. So you can actually do this, and it will...
Exactly. I mean, in this...
Does it make much difference to me?
In this mission, absolutely not, because you wouldn't like fleeing from...
Oh, I see. Chance of success goes up by 10% if I use a little bit of intel.
Exactly.
But it's at 80% now.
Yeah, and if you add another person, your chances will also go up.
Let's risk it with Roman.
The very first missions, they are rather simple, so...
These people, they won't be able to actually govern a country. The developers, it must be hard for them to try and almost reduce such a complicated situation to the kind of numbers game that's going on here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like how they will decide, how the numbers add up, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is complicated, but we also want to have, it's a strategy game. It should be a game. Yeah, first, people should be able to play it and understand it easily. And I guess we will transport a lot of emotions with the narrative we have in the game. So we don't necessarily need it in every single mission. But of course, I mean, you see the risk is chance of success 46%, and risk is very low. But if later on you see a very high risk, that is a very good indicator to show that you can actually be caught by the Gestapo, which is the secret German police, and you should be careful. I mean, your characters are your most valuable resources, and you can actually lose them. So they can be caught, they can die, and if your main character, which in this case is Georg Müller or George Müller, if he is caught and he can also be executed, the game is over. And the main goal basically is to survive through the darkest of times, to get to the end of the war in 1945, and make your group out alive. And at the same time, you should do enough. I mean, you're a resistance group, so if you don't do anything, you are irrelevant, and the group will also dissolve. But if you do too much, you will be in the focus of the attention of the Gestapo, and then they will get you much more likely to arrest you and to eventually kill you.
Oh, okay. So I see what I've done now is I've put Roman on one thing, trying to find a new member. I've sent the other two to go and convince some friends. I've given them some intel, which is just kind of an abstract piece of paper, and it will say something that will help them do that, I guess.
Exactly. Now we click on the end turn calendar, and then we're going for the next round.
This is the current turn, let's do it. Let's see how that turned out. 5 people are still supporting us. We got 2 marks.
And now come the mission results.
Let's see.
Nice. More supporters.
So we got 11 new supporters.
Exactly. And this will open up new missions in the next turn then.
And Roman got... Is this 3 new characters or
It's 3
supporters?
candidates that you can hire. Yeah. So
Candidates,
the maximum group size is 5. It's like a story event interruption now.
And will these happen after every mission or every
Not after
turn?
no, not after everyone, no.
It's
But
already dark.
quite
there.
often.
Let's just be warm. Oh, I'm the head of resistance. I can't.
But yes, you're the head of resistance.
Well, I'm not. Well, I'll just head for them. I don't need to do anything yet unless I can. There are 3 men all wearing brown shirts and a swastika. So you're definitely going into the nitty-gritty of the pre-war years.
I mean, this is like, of course, this one example here is now a proven historical event, but events like this actually happened all the time these days.
Yeah.
So we are sticking very close to the historical events, like the bigger ones, like the war starts where Germany attacks Poland, for example, burning of the Reichstag, burning the books, etc., etc. But there are also those more like personal stuff, and this is, of course, it's fictional, but it could have just well happened, and some of these stories are based on actual witness reports, etc., etc.
I'm going to interfere. I don't
Good.
expect it's going to go well, but it's early days, so hopefully I'll just get beaten up as well.
And I think it's very important that you are thinking what you are doing, because that you're putting yourself in the role of the resistance leader here. Yeah, I mean, what would you do on the actual street? Yeah, what would the people do? Would you help if 3 guys are beating up 1 man and you are alone? Would you help him? It's like a question of personality, maybe.
Schnapps and beer in his breath. So we've spoken a bit, and
the old man took the chance to disappear.
he's gone. So I think maybe now I can just lie to these people. Oh no. I'm lagging it. I'm lagging it. There's no way. You know what? I may as well put the boot in. Insult them.
So in this very first incident, you can't lose the game here. Yeah, of course we were not that unfair. But later on, there are many of these events which actually could you get in grave danger.
You have to get used to these things. So it's the next day.
So every turn is a week. So 1 week has passed now.
So Hindenburg has dissolved parliament. An emergency decree has been made, and Hitler is getting high-ranking military officers on board. If wife Emma Koenig could join the group. If you can trust Emma, I think we can too. End of scene.
Now phone is ringing, so you can maybe hire more the ones you scouted with the last mission.
What happens if the morale gets too low?
The group dissolves. If it's 0, the group just dissolves. They say we can't stand the pressure anymore.
Just game over.
Yeah.
Daniela Schmidt. So we've got Emma.
Exactly.
Hera Oettinger. I don't think we have anyone who's good at propaganda, so I think Hera or Daniela will be good for us.
True.
We'll get someone. Hera seems quite well rounded.
Double click.
I am okay at hiding and covering my tracks. I don't get other people. Why aren't they all like me? I can write a leaflet or come up with a slogan if I have to.
Yeah, just double click on her.
Hera looks pretty tough.
Yeah.
Can I? Oh, my group is full. It
Yes,
says.
only 5. Yeah, sorry.
So they have now appeared. We've got Emma and Hera here. Will the game have the chance to like click on the members and talk to them for a little bit in a kind of interactive fiction-y way, or is that not planned?
At the moment, not.
No.
But we are looking into a lot of stuff. I mean, the game is supposed to be out early next year, so there's still some time to make changes.
Okay. You now gain access to the campus, so that's a new place.
Mhm.
The city planner, Jan Eschke,
Eschke.
tells us the best areas in the city to distribute leaflets to as many people as possible. We can now distribute leaflets. The painter Hans Roth tells us about shops where we might buy larger quantities of paint without raising suspicion. It's opening up. We can do a lot of things now.
Exactly. So you can bind paper to like paint messages on the walls, which, for example, like Hitler means war or something.
But these, okay. Since we don't have a whole lot of time left, why don't you tell me which one of these
I'll take the yellow one with the little figurines, maybe. The lower one, it's like a big protest. The whole
Public
of the group will go
protest.
there, and this will give you a lot of supporters, which will add up more and more missions for you then.
Okay.
And so the game actually gives you more and more options at your hands. So you can gather intel that you can share with the Allied forces later, or you can establish a connection to the Polish or the French embassy, for example, at this time of the game. You can try to smuggle in books that might the people get, that they get clearer view of what Hitler is up to. You can get people out of the country if you already think that, okay, it would be a good idea to get, for example, people of Jewish belief out of Germany now. You can all do things like that. Later on, you can also do sabotage missions. You can also have like assassination attempts on high-ranking Nazi officers. So it gets more violent as the further the group in the game progress.
The supporters bar as well. When this gets to a certain point, does that mean something?
Yes, every time you get a certain hit, for example, if you see like gain 20 supporters to unlock new missions, that's the second goal.
I see.
And the more and more you get, the more and more stuff you'll unlock.
Okay.
So this protest thing will give you a big number of supporters.
I'm guessing it might have ramifications.
But
It might have consequences if we are having a big public protest.
I mean, you're just joining one. There was one, as you can see, there are 200,000 people in Berlin. Actually, with Otto Wels was the leader of the Social Democrat Party at that time, the party that actually still exists. And yeah, but there we find more supporters, and I guess being a few people among 200,000 doesn't really put you in the focus of the Gestapo yet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. See, my history isn't great, so I don't know exactly when, at what point it was incredibly dangerous to speak publicly against stuff like this. I'm guessing it's not a very straight-cut thing. Let's make him better at secrecy, because he needs to be the best at secrecy, because he's the leader, I guess.
That's the second guy,
Let's
second in command.
Make him
Gee,
more
Eugen.
empathetic. Well, man, is this gonna be good for everyone?
With the numbers for everyone, of course, you will be better at the missions. So it's basically all people will benefit from it, but the level up is per character. So if you lose one character and he's like high ranking, high level up, you will lose a very good resource, basically.
We got a cabaret club now.
Yes, this is like for keeping the morale up. So if the morale is getting down, you can like cheer them up while you're dancing or going to a museum, for example. I mean, you have to also manage like just the pressure. You have to imagine the pressure they must be under. Like every day they're planning actions against the state, against the regime, and then sometimes they have just to do something that is funnier for them, that the morale goes up again.
let's do that then. Oh, this will be everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
In grim times, it's important to keep your head up. That's what it says. Okay,
Exactly.
let's do it.
And this is like a forbidden nightclub. It can also be a problem. Maybe you will be seen there. I know this is a special mission for one of your characters now.
On the train, I
Or
can't
event.
shake the feeling I'm being watched. Let's keep my eyes peeled. Step off the train not far from home along with several others. Let's go to a pub because I don't want to lead. If someone is following me, I don't want to lead them to my house. I enter a pub and I look around. It's crowded, but I manage to find a place at the window. Watch the people on the street because I'm in the pub now, so I observe them passing by, see if I recognize a face. Nothing. I don't see a point. Okay. It's dark outside when I get home. Let's watch the street. Let's just make sure. Oh, am I just doing this because I'm paranoid?
Exactly. So we also want to transport that feeling that you might get paranoid after a way. You don't know who's looking at you. I mean, everybody could be like a secret agent or something. Yeah, you could be watched, but also you could just think that you are being watched. So also this, we're adding a lot of pressure here on the player as well.
Okay, so I've gone to bed, but I've actually woken up and there is a shadow on the other side of the street. Let's just watch. Seems to look up at me, turns to me, walks around.
So our goal with the game is to really transport the feeling of these times when you were like a regular person. Yeah, because I think a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah, I mean, usually the most games that deal with World War II, they just put a rifle in your hand and let you storm the Normandy beach, or they put you in charge as being like a general. You send like divisions to the Eastern Front or whatever. But I think we are one of the first games where you actually play civilian resistance in Germany. And yeah, I think that's very important to have a game like this these days.
I've just said that it was probably nothing, although I have clocked it really. We traveled east of Berlin, visited an illegal nightclub. We dance all night. When we finally leave, the sun is already in the sky. It felt good. Oscar Maria Graf leaves Germany. It's all happening. It's all getting worse.
Yeah, we feel that all over the place. So the pressure is getting bigger and bigger. And also the need to resist.
Let's make
So
our
what you-
propagandists better at propaganda.
So everything we do is like basically the whole game is based on historical facts.
Uh-huh.
So everything is very well researched, and we are following the actual events of the Hitler's rise to power and then of the World War. When you finish the game one time, afterwards you can get to an alternative history mode, and then you have the chance to actually change history if you're playing.
Yeah, because I imagine if someone is playing through this, they are, they know, I mean, what they do is going to have a limited effect, right?
Exactly.
They're not going to
Exactly.
stop the
But
Nazi
for-
war
For
machine.
the
they're
first
just gonna
time,
be
we
able
want to make it completely accurate to history, and if you've done it once, then you can play this alternate mode and actually change it.
send these guys to buy some paint. And, oh, I should have sent Hera to go and do the manuals because she's good at propaganda. Okay, well, and I'm guessing you just click on and on and on until 1933 becomes 1945.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of missions and events in between, and yeah, you will see a lot of the war and a lot of the actual stuff that happened in Germany at these times.
Okay.
And yeah, we hope this game is interesting for a lot of people, as you can, just see how it was for the people. I mean, one thing in Germany is that a lot of people ask the older generation, why didn't you just do something?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just go out to the streets and kick Hitler out of the Reichstag? Yeah, and we hope that this might give a little glimpse to why they just didn't just go out and did something. And there were actually a lot of people who resisted Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them were
complexities.
killed during the war, and so I hope that's an interesting topic to
Okay.
deal with.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for Through the Darkest of Times. And with Florian, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah.